In this calculation, you can see there are some typos. It states, in general chemistry lab, you isolate a novel compound. Your analysis determines that the compound is 47.7% magnesium and 52.3% oxygen by mass. What is the empirical formula? If you determine that the molecular weight is 600 grams per mole, what is the molecular formula? So this is an empirical formula calculation, and there are essentially 4 steps. So step 1, assume 100 grams. So I'm going to take my 47.7 grams of magnesium and my 52.3 grams of oxygen and convert. That gives me the first step. Part 2, convert to moles. From here, I'm going to divide by the molar mass of magnesium, which is 24.31 grams in 1 mole. And when you plug that in the calculator, I get 1.95 moles magnesium. For the mass of oxygen, I'm going to divide by 16 grams in 1 mole. And that gives me 3.26 mole. So here, it's very tempting to just round to a number, but that's not the last step. So our next step is divide by least moles. So I'm going to divide by 1.95, and I'm going to divide here by 1.95. So that gives me 1 mole of magnesium. And this gives me 1.67 moles of oxygen. So we can't use 1.67, but we know that 1.67 is 5/3. So I'm going to multiply by 3 to where I get 3 magnesium and 5 oxygen. So the empirical formula is Mg3O5. Now you might be saying, I don't know that that compound exists. And it turns out that you made a new compound. This one does not follow some of the other rules because we know the magnesium oxide is typically magnesium 1, oxygen 1. But we can get other variations of that. So this here is our empirical formula. The remainder of the question asks for the molecular formula. So the molecular formula can be determined by taking the molecular weight and dividing that by the empirical weight. And this should give us a whole value. And so that whole number is going to allow us to determine what we should multiply the subscript by. So the empirical molecular weight is 3 times 24.31 plus 5 times 16, 0.00, and that gives me 152.93 grams per mole. I'm going to spruce this up a little bit. So now we're going to take a molecular weight, which we calculated in the problem, is 600 grams per mole. And I'm going to divide that by 152.93 grams per mole. And so when you plug this in your calculator, you get 3.92, which is really close to a whole number of 4. So now I can take this value 4 and multiply each of my subscripts here so that I get magnesium 12, oxygen 20. And so this is our molecular formula. And so even though this calculation here didn't give you a whole number, it was quite close to a whole number. So this is how we can set those up.